What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Sports. I'm your host, Trevor. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and remember to hit that bell notification. It will let you know when the podcast goes live so you can actually listen to it or watch the recording at a later time. Today we're talking 49er football, but before that, just remember, Wednesday, 100th episode, we will have Matt Steinmetz from 95.7 The Game here to talk Warrior basketball. It's going to be really fun, exciting. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait for that episode. But until then, let's talk Niner football for just a minute. It looks like Deebo Samual is going to be on his way out more and more every day. Good news is that the Niners can actually go after a couple of players and use Deebo Samuel as trade bait, basically, for those players, which wasn't really going to be a thing last time he was requesting a trade. It was kind of more or less trying to just get him signed. We thought that there was going to be some value there. But now, after 1 year, I kind of feel like Deebo doesn't really have a place on the team. There is a lot of positions he plays well, but he doesn't really have one position. We have our tight end locked down. We have our wide receivers locked down. We have our running backs locked down. So he doesn't really have a spot on the team necessarily. So it's fine to trade him. I kind of feel okay trading him as long as we get something back. There are a few players out there that I would love to see the Niners go after. Obviously, Myles Garrett would be one that I would love to see the Niners go get. He's expressed interest with wanting to play with the 49ers, and so I think that would be the main target for the Niners. But there's always other players. Joey Bosa has talked about wanting to come play with the Niners alongside his brother Nick Bosa, which would be also really cool to see. Both of those players would be fun to watch in a Niner uniform, and when you have Deebo Samuel, you have a trade token to go out and get one of those guys. So those are the two I would think that the Niners are going to be looking strongly at over the next couple of weeks or few months before training camp starts, which doesn't really start until around May anyway. So April, May, I believe. So anyway, those are the players I would be looking at if I was the 49ers. On top of that, they are really, really adamant about signing Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw is a free agent, and we don't want to see him walk. I think absolutely with the new defensive coordinator back in Robert Saleh is already saying absolutely we need to have this guy back in a 49er uniform. So I think that holds some weight. I do think we'll see Dre Greenlaw back. If we don't see Dre Greenlaw back, I would be very surprised, shocked, and kind of disappointed because I'm not sure who fills his shoes at this point. You could see when he came back last year, the 4 or 5 plays he was in before he got injured again. Now, that is a worry. I get it. But when he was in, he affected the entire defense in a way, and it was like night and day. They were a million times better with him on the field. So I do think getting him back, depending on how much you have to spend to get him, I think you got to try and get him back, unless he's asking for an outrageous amount that is just not worth it. But I think overall, you definitely need to go get him and bring him back to the Niners. So those are some players that you want to have on the. I can't imagine how good this defense is going to look when you have somebody like Dre Greenlaw, and then you put somebody else like Joey Bosa next to Nick Bosa, or Myles Garrett next to Nick Bosa. That defense will be just unstoppable. It would be amazing to see. So I would love to see the Niners really go out and try to make a push for one of those guys. And let's see if they do. I think it's a safe bet that they're not going to stand idle. They're definitely in the win now, idea phase still. So they're not starting over. They're not rebuilding, nothing like that. We still don't really know what Brock Purdy's contract's going to look like. We're hoping that it's backloaded so that the Niners can go out and get some players now to win. That depends on how that contract shakes out and how the negotiations go. But I truly believe that Brock Purdy wants to win now. So if he wants to win now, and that is true, then the contract will be negotiated as such, and we'll be able to go out and see the Niners get some players now so they can go and get over that hump and finally get the Super Bowl they've been going for the last 4 or 5 years. There's other players that want to come and join the Niners. Um, but I'm not really super excited. Devontae Adams has mentioned it a couple of times. We kind of have our wide receivers. Not that I wouldn't want him. It just depends on the price. He's kind of a locker room killer everywhere he goes, and that's kind of worrisome too. So, as good of a player as he is, he would have to prove that he can come here and be a team player. But there are options all over right now. There's lots of free agents, or at least players that want to be traded that the Niners can go after, and I think they will do that. And I think at the end of the day, next year, they're going to be really, really good. Remember, they have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds of the draft this year. They're situated very well at the number 11 spot. So I think overall, guys, the Niners are in a great spot. They have a full offseason to actually get their training, their practice, get strong, get healthy. They didn't have that the last few years because they went so deep in the playoffs. But this year is different. This year they actually get a break, get to rest and rejuvenate themselves and get back on the field and make a push for an actual Super Bowl next year with probably a little bit of retooling. We need an offensive line still. I mean, we have a couple of good players, but we need better offensive line for sure. So that's got to be a point of focus in the draft. We need some defensive linemen. Wouldn't mind having a corner that's decent, but so there's some areas that need some help. Special teams needs a ton of help, but that's not really at the top of the list. Top of the list is offensive line, defensive line, and then maybe a corner, and then maybe special teams on top of that. But you got to shore up some areas, and there's some players out there that want to be traded that could affect this defense in a major way, which can help a lot as well. So far, some exciting stuff going on. Deebo wanting to be traded is not the end of the world. It actually opens up opportunities for players that we actually need in positions we actually need. I don't think the Niners are dropping off too much on offense without Deebo Samuel in the lineup. So that's my feeling. Maybe a few years ago I would have said different, but this year, after what I just saw, he kind of came in out of shape. He wasn't that big of a performer. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to trade him, give him up, and get something, as long as you get what you want in return. Okay? That's it. He may force the Niners to release him because he can decide where he wants to play. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't want to be a Niner, he's going to have to play ball and kind of work with the Niners to see where he's going to end up. So anyway, that's it for the Niners this week, guys. I appreciate you watching. And remember, Wednesday's big day. Matt Steinmetz, 95.7 The Game, will be here with me talking Warrior basketball. Very excited. And so until next time, remember, hard work beats talent when talent don't work. See you in the next one.